Hi there folks, and this is the last video of 2019, and yes, we've come to the end of 2019 and onward to 2020. Here's hoping 2020 is an awesome year here folks, but let's now time to get to the nitty gritty of the films that made my top 10 list and 5 films that just were on the outside looking in. The honorable mentions here are Knives Out, Apollo 11, Avengers Endgame, The Art of Self-Defense, and The Report. My number 10 film here on this list here is... Yes, my number 10 on this list here is Deadwood. And unlike some TV shows that were revived in recent years, treated to where these characters are headed, where they may not be headed to, and how this show pretty much showed you what the West actually was, which is a dark, dreary, nappy place, and basically who would want to live here, and not like the romanticized westerns of the past. And also the fact is, yes, we do get to meet these characters for the last time, and how we feel like we've gotten to know these characters. Number 9 on this list here is... The Mustang is one of the most unconventional choices you may see on this list. It's one of those films that if you have not seen this film, check this film out. It needs to be seen, about a guy in prison who's not the most cuddly of sorts. Quite frankly, he's not a good person in general. And he finds redemption in one of the most unlikely places imaginable. It happens to be horse training, and this is based on, indeed, an actual program of horses that are indeed captured, broken down, and sold off to individuals, particularly Border Patrol. Look, I would just go say see this. Number 8 on this list here is... Yes, my number 8 on this list here is At the Heart of Gold, Inside the U.S. Gymnastics Scandal, one of 3 HBO films on this list, and 2 of that documentaries. And basically, but unlike, say, the other HBO documentary, this is only half as long, and basically, but all the more painful to watch, knowing that, oh yes, here are a whole bunch of people that unwillingly turned a blind eye to the fact that, oh yeah, there's a child molester in their ranks. They need to do something about it, but oh yeah, we don't want to interfere with the attempts to that. Oh yes, we may achieve Olympic glory. He may be a goofy guy, but deep down he's a predator that could easily have gone away with a lighter sentence, but clearly had to shoot himself in the foot. Number 7 on this list here is... Yes, number 7 on this list here, folks, is Uncut Gems. This is a late entry into this top 10 with a volcanic role for Adam Sandler after so many years. The Adam Sandler character is not the most likable person around, but we find ourselves thinking to ourselves, okay, how would anyone in this situation deal with being in the situation? Gem dealing is probably a hard business, and let's face it, if you keep doubling down, what's going to happen to you? You're going to keep going into the hole. I mean, yes, there's obviously Gamblers Anonymous for people like him, but would he be willing to take it? No. He has something in his DNA that just tells him, I will not quit. I will not give up. I need to make my money. I need to spend my money. While family may be family, they may not want to deal with you at all. Number 6 on this list here happens to be... Number 6 on this list happens to be The Farewell. And this is one of the more upteenth This American Life episodes that are constantly being adapted into feature-length films. And here's the thing, I didn't think much of Awkwafina when I first met her, but here I feel like she fully inhabits the role. Anyone could easily have it as well, and Awkwafina happens to fill it. And it's one of the better comedies outside of The Art of Self-Defense, which sadly didn't make it onto this list. And how basically we come to see China now in this growing metropolis that is China. Older folks are being priced out of the system. How basically, yes, what they're doing here is obviously wrong, and if they did this in the U.S., it'd probably be illegal. But this is the way it's done in China. You get the insight of China, how older generations are now telling the younger generations of it. And obviously, we do get lovely postscript to that. And number 5 on this list here happens to be... Yes, number 5 here on this list is Astra, and let me say this, I'm a sci-fi buff. Always have been, always will be. There was a brief time where I was a horror buff, but I never lost my love for sci-fi, and this is relatively hard sci-fi in a future where, yes, no one's speeding at Warp 5, but they are on cramped ships, and I just love Brad Pitt's voiceover narration. This is an outer space version of that one film he made last year, where you consider it an outer space version of Apocalypse Now. Well, everyone else is sort of a cameo regulated role. Number 4 on this list here is... Yes, my number 4 on this list here is Leaving Neverland. You're saying, do I believe White and James? Absolutely. Do I believe that people should be banning Michael Jackson music? Absolutely not. You can't separate the art from the artist in this situation, and it's possible that Michael Jackson is naive enough to sleep in the same bed with children and not think anything would go wrong. That's certainly a possibility. But hearing all the detail is just, wow. I felt uncomfortable watching the whole thing, and I would love to watch an additional hour of this, because the rough cut, or director's cut if there ever is one, is 5 hours long. HBO has come a long way when it comes to their movies, when it comes to their documentaries. I think next year they're covering the McDonald's monopoly fraud scandal. Number 3 on this list here is... Yes, my number 3 on this list here is Marriage Story. And then what a year Adam Driver had with a report, I Didn't Care for the Dead Don't Die. And I just recently saw the underwhelming Rise of Skywalker. And Adam Driver, I believe, is a force to be reckoned with. And Scarlett Johansson has many years under her belt of doing wonderful, great work. You know, yes, there is the occasional dud in her resume. Confess, I personally loathe Noah Baumbach and his films for the white-hot intensity of 1,000 Suns. But I already love this film. And I think, basically, marriage counselors, particularly in LA, should go watch this film and see how they are actually portrayed. Maybe this is the way they're actually portrayed, and hopefully they'll change their ways. Divorce has not changed since Kramer versus Kramer. It's hard on the kids, knowing that their parents are not going to be together. My number 2 on this list here is... My number 2, and the runner-up for the year, is indeed Joker. And when this first came on the radar, I was not expecting Joker, to be honest. Todd Phillips, had done a lot of comedies. He hadn't done a lot of dramedies, or dramas in general. But here's the thing, I happen to like this film as a film about a guy who's mentally deteriorating and can't come back from the abyss, who's just been kicked down one too many times, rather than a film about the Joker. This movie could have been called anything. When I would have seen this, I'd be amazed anyway. But my number 1 on this list here is... Yes, my number 1 on this list here happens to be The Irishman, and I believe when the history of man is written, Martin Scorsese will deserve a chapter here, and this film will deserve its own chapter, and how basically Scorsese spent so many years toiling away with this project, and how basically Netflix became the sugar daddy for this film, or the Mount Rushmore of mob films. It'll be Godfather, Godfather 2, Goodfellas, and then this film. Anyone who barely complains about the runtime is a snowflake and needs to pick up his big boy pants. Folks, in the end, what did you think about my top 10 list? As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, and enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks, in a brand new year of movies, television, and documentaries.